Today we continue with our class Halachos of other people's money. And this session and all of them will be dedicated to Rifah Shlema or dear Rabbi Yaron Ruven. Shlita, his name is Yaron Ben Doris, also Yehudis Bas Noach, Ariela Ora Bas Anna, Emima Rasi Rachel Bas Brandel, David Shlomo Ben Sandra, quick release of our dear friend Moshe Shmuel Ben Pnina, and Bezras Hashem Atzlacha Rabba to Hannah Bas Sarah and the whole family. They should be successful. Bezras Hashem. So today we continue with our book Halachos of other people's money. People, 1 second. Okay. So we're going through the different cases. So maybe quickly, I'm going to review quickly what we said before. Different form of stealing. So some form of stealing that people would not even think that it's stealing. So first of all, less than a pruta, meaning very negligible amount. As a practical joke, somebody hit somebody's head or something. Also, we said consider stealing for the victim's own benefit, right? So even he wanted to give him something else instead, right? Also we cover. Then in an emergency, right? So if saving somebody's life, from a minor, right? We discussed last time. From a family member, so we said maybe if they got used to that people borrow from them, or maybe they don't like it so much, right? Maybe I don't know what would be example, right? Wife does not want her things to when somebody ties them. Possible. That's from a spouse. Parent taken from a child, right? A toy or something, or money or something. Right, and the last thing that we discussed was from institution. Okay. So now we continue with number 8, an example, and it says from partnership, private or public corporation. And it says, if one steals an item owned by many partners, it is considered stealing, even though the loss of each owner minuscule, less than a pruta. Okay, so we're going to see the examples. So I mean, if it's owned by corporation, so yeah, maybe it costs I don't know, like $50, but if it's corporation, it's less than a penny for its shareholder. I mean, a fraction of a penny even. According to many poskim, even though the private corporations or LLC is legally considered a distinct entity, right? Nevertheless, it is halachically considered as a property of the individuals who own it. We're going to explain. Therefore, if one steals from a corporation, he is guilty of stealing. Right. So meaning, it says that you should not steal from one another. One another meaning there is a live person on another side, like from which another person steals. So you cannot say that this corporation it's not a person, it's like entity. Okay, so halachically it does not work. It's not like that. So it owns this company is owned by live people. Okay. Similarly, if one steals from a publicly traded company, he is guilty of stealing. Right, so meaning shareholders. For example, someone checked into a hotel owned by a public company, having thousands of shareholders. The guest took a small wash towel worth of $1 as a souvenir of his visit. Although the loss of each shareholder, 1 second, was a small fraction. The small fraction of 1 cent, the guest was nevertheless guilty of stealing. So some people have this thing, right? Just because they paid a lot of money for the room, so everything is included, right? And some people, I had this case, a guy. So he said, he took, I don't remember how the conversation started. He had like a luxury robe, like bathrobe, men's robe, from Rochata. I say, but it is stealing. No, it was one of these halachic classes. I said, but you should return it. He said, no, but why should I? I pay so much money. It doesn't matter. Like nobody forced you to pay this money. So if you pay this money, why shouldn't take a faucet? You like maybe faucet costs a lot of money. Take the faucet, the shower head. Like why you took only bathrobe? Like does not make sense, right? Don't want to stay in this fancy schmancy hotel. Don't stay. Pay less, right? It's very interesting. So of course it's like a twisted mentality. I'm not sure if maybe in non-Jewish society like that. I'm not sure, but for sure it's not right. So we cannot take anything from them. Of course, you take toiletries. I mean, not take, but use all of this. They give you little toothpaste. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. If you want to take it with you, then there is no problem. It's disposable. I mean, even if you use they give you like a small ones, right? Even if you used once, right? They're not going to give it to another guest. Most likely, they're going to throw it in the garbage, or the cleaning lady is going to take. So in this case, it's a little little easier. So if you want to use your own, you can take basically, but other things absolutely not. Towels. Okay, so let's do from the beginning, and there are commentaries we're going to explain. So again, our topic is from a partnership, private or public corporation. Okay, if one steals an item owned by many partners, it is considered stealing, even though the loss of each owner is minuscule, less than a pruta. And it was actually our first topic in this chapter. So we said that technically in halacha, if somebody stole less than a pruta, even though it is not allowed, but you cannot prosecute this case in a court. Why? Because usually people forgo this insignificant loss. But at the same time, right? In this on another hand, we said if everybody is going to steal like a little bit, like every minute, so it's going to accumulate to the huge amount. So right, so meaning it's not allowed to steal, even though because there is many people collectively own things. So like per person, it's going to be less than a pruta. So pruta, we said that it's a small copper coin that was used in a Talmudic time, and today our sages say it's like a small currency for which you can buy things, whatever small thing you can buy. And and they're going to sell it in the store, so that's the currency. So I think like if you go to the candy store, right? We also give this example. If you they have loose candy, so you take it back and you take as many candies as you want. So I want one piece of candy, right? And it's like, let's say it's 3 cents or something, or 2 cents. So that's a pruta in a sense. Okay. Continue. According to many poskim, even though the private corporation, an LLC, is legally considered a distinct entity, so meaning what? People, even individuals, they put things in corporation, an LLC, right? Because they want to do it like a legally separate entity. So in case they're going to get sued, so this other people is going to sue corporation, not them personally. And actually, I was very surprised, and I saw even where I live. You can check if you log in to city website, you can check your what is it, the taxes, how much you pay taxes, how much your neighbors pay, and it popped out, and I saw some of my neighbors, they actually put their houses, their property on corporation, right? So you see there is something shady going on. They're meaning that they're afraid that being sued. Okay. It's very interesting, right? So technically, So meaning even if one person is in the owner of this corporation, and somebody is trying to sue the corporation, it's only like up to certain limit. So this person can be a millionaire, but in corporations $5,000. Let's say that's much how much they own. So these people can only get $5,000. So they cannot get the millions that person has. Okay, so in a legal sense, it is a distinct entity. Even though, as I said, it's only one owner, so but it's two separate entity, person in corporation. But nevertheless, halachically, right, we consider as a halachically, it is considered as a property of the individual who owns it, right? Because this property belongs to some person or people, right? So halachically, when person steals from corporation, so he steals from from individuals. Okay. Therefore, one who steals from a corporation is guilty of stealing. Okay. 100% guilty of stealing, even though maybe there is no punishment, there is no Beis Din, but in Shemaim, in the heaven, there is a Beis Din. Right? There is a Beis Din. Okay. So, and on this we have a commentary. According to many poskim, the assets of the publicly traded company are halachically considered the property of the shareholders, who have influence on the operation of the company. Mm-hmm. If there is no Yehudim wielding influence on the company is considered partnership of Akum. This is important criterion with regard to the issue of Chometz on Pesach, interest payment and profits from operations on Shabbos and Yom Tov. However, with regard of stealing from the company, there is no practical difference. It's very straightforward. Whether it is Akum or Yehudi owned. In either case, stealing would be prohibited. See paragraph A9. Okay, we're going to get to it. Okay, so stealing, right. We're going to discuss stealing from Akum. One second, is it this? Right, it's actually, maybe we're going to get to it. It looks like we're going to get to it. Okay, so let's do this commentary because it's very, very deep and very, very interesting. So again, according to many poskim, the assets of the publicly traded company halachically considered property of those shareholders. So so they sell this stocks, right? And people buy individual stocks, and they become shareholders. So meaning, and he said that they can influence operation of the company. Meaning, they give you right to vote. Who is going to be the president? Who is going to be this? Who is going to be in the board of the shareholders? Of course, if there is 10 million shares and I bought 2 of them, maybe they're not going to put me as the director, but still I can vote. So meaning I can influence as an individual shareholder, I can influence operations of the company. So right, so meaning makes me an owner. So just I mean, if I don't have any shares, nobody's going to let me. Nobody's going to let me to vote, right? But why they let me? Because I'm owner. So that's very interesting, very important, right? If there is no Yehudim, wielding the influence of the company. So meaning, right, to translation. So if there is no Jews, right, who influence the company, meaning in a board of directors, meaning the biggest shareholders, the company is considered partnership of Akum, right? So if there is no important Yehudim, no important Jews, who is on a board of directors, so the company is considered to be not Jewish company, Akum. Okay, so is it good? We'll see. There is some benefits. Again, you cannot steal, but there are benefits, right? This is important criterion with regard to the issue of Chometz on Pesach. So if there is a food, right, food stuff, so meaning you don't have to sell it. You don't have to like do a special operation to sell it to a goy. Why? Because it's not Jewish owned, right? So for example, there's supermarkets. So by us, where we live, there is a public list. I mean, public list, like it's a private list, but looks like everybody know how to get it. So it became public for many years. So basically, we know what supermarket. So even if it's like a national brands and a national chain of supermarket, right? Supermarkets, they still, most of them, not all of them, but most of them, I think, they're privately owned, right? Owned and operated, right? So meaning what? Right? So if there is a Jew that owned that supermarket, right? Let's say that branch, so he must sell chometz. He must sell chometz. So some of them have a non-Jew as a owner. So I mean a co-owner, and there is a halachic like procedure that they have to go through how to sell it. To mean that all of the chometz during the Pesach belongs to this non-Jew and stuff like that. So it's not such an easy procedure. But at least if majority, like majority of the people like who is in control of the company, non-Jew, there is no problem for chometz on Pesach. They can do whatever they want. It's their chometz. Me personally, I don't have any chometz, right? Interest payments, right? So we're not allowed to take interest from Jews. So who is going to get interest? Other people are going to get interest, right? So not me. Very interesting. So meaning that since there are many Jews, so they can get the interest. And the profit from operation on Shabbos. So most of businesses, not all of them, but many businesses open on Shabbos, on Yom Tov for sure. So and we're not allowed to work on Shabbos and Yom Tov. We're not allowed to benefit from work that being done on our behalf, even for non-Jew. Right, a non-Jew on our behalf on Shabbos or Yom Tov. So, but since there are many non-Jews, or majority non-Jews, or many non-Jews, so it is considered at this factory or whatever, this trucking, whatever business, they was working on their behalf. I'm not going to get anything. Okay. But so here is like you have many advantages in some sense that the company is owned by a non-Jew, but he's very straightforward. However, with regard to stealing from the company, there is no practical difference whether it is Akum or Yehudi owned. So meaning stealing, you cannot steal from a non-Jew. So as I had I don't know how many clips I have, maybe 3 or 4 or 5. Right, it's from halachic sources that a person who steals from a non-Jew does a Chillul Hashem, right? And he does not, or he or she does not, do not have a share in the world to come. That's how bad it is to steal from a non-Jew. From a Jew, if you return, there is no problem, right? But from a non-Jew, it's a big issue. So, okay. Right. In either case, it is the stealing is forbidden. So he's very informative commentary. Okay, continue. For example, somebody checked into a hotel owned by a public company, having thousands of shareholders, maybe some of them Jews, okay, some of them non-Jews, right? And guest took a small wash towel worth $1, right, as a souvenir of his visit, right? Although the loss of each shareholder, I mean, it's for us simple people, it costs $1. For them, even less, right? But still, it's absolutely irrelevant, right? Was a small fraction over the cent, right? A guest was nevertheless guilty of stealing. So it doesn't matter. So people said, no, they're very rich. So, and I had this argument, like I had to rebuke some people. So say, no, he's rich. He can afford. I'm in dire straits. I said, no. It's absolutely wrong. Just because somebody is rich, just because somebody is a thief, it does not mean that you're allowed to steal from a thief or like a crook, right? He's a crook. Hashem is going to deal with him. But why you going on that path, right? Because why people steal from other people? Because they're heretics, as we do in this bitachon series, right? Right. So if person has bitachon in Hashem, they know that they're going to get everything wherever they need. And if they don't have something at this point, even though they're in very great need, so Hashem has different plans. What plans? I mean, we're going to find out very soon. You understand? But still, we go according to Hashem's law, as we learned today in Halachos to the King. We don't steal. We don't take something that do not belong to us. Okay, see, very powerful book. Okay, so let's do next point. So it's point number 9 from an Akum. The prohibition of stealing applies to property of an Akum and as an Akum-owned corporation. For example, taking supplies from one's place of work is stealing, even if the employer is Akum. Note, Chazal categorize stealing from Akum as an offense that is more serious than stealing from Yehudi, because it invariably causes Chillul Hashem. Awesome, observe, okay, continue. Actually, no, that's it, 1 second. That's it with this point. Okay, so let's try to review. Okay, again from Akum. So Akum is a non-Jew. So even though that abbreviation of Akum, it means that the idol worshipper who worship the stars and constellation, right, planets, right? So actually, like halachically wise, it's applied to all of this, all of the non-Jew, even though they don't worship any deity. People are secular, people even Muslims, does not matter. They're all Akum. Okay, right? Meaning non-Jews. So again, there is a prohibition to steal property from Akum. So right, and some people have this like demented mentality. I'm not sure where they got it from, because it's not in our books. For sure, it's not in a Jewish book. So they say, no, only from a Jew you're not allowed, but from Akum, from Jews, they're non-Jews. And I also rebuke people. Some of them listened, some of them did not listen, but at least they heard from me that it's absolutely forbidden. Absolutely forbidden. You like them, you don't like them, it's absolutely irrelevant. You think they're honest, if they would have an opportunity they would steal for you, that's their own business, right? So does not mean that we have to like pre-calculate. Okay, so not allowed to steal from a non-Jew. And so from Akum joint corporation, right, or non-Jewish corporation. So meaning even majority of them, right, majority of shares owned by non-Jew. For example, taking supply from one's place of work is stealing, even if the employer is Akum. So I remember it's like in my office, like people, the secretary said, like at one point they required the secretary to go like with everybody. They put locks on all of the supplies, and she would go and said, okay, he's like, what do you need? I need notepad. Okay, notepads and like in the number 5 and like file cabinet number 5. So you'd open, take, and sometimes she said, well, why do you need 3? So meaning she was instructed, because people were taking 17 and take home to their kids, like and people around were not exactly like poor people. You understand? But this mentality that it's free and you have to take it anyway, you're going to use it. You're not going to use it. So I would come and take one what is it? Notebook and 1 pen. She said, take 2. I said, I took last time, like just in case. I have 2 pens, like maybe one is not work. I need to write down. But that's enough. I have 1 pencil. Like how many things say she said, you Jews are special. Like she was laughing, right? Because she said people that take like a handful, like 6 pens. Like how long do you need to write with them? I mean, it was in all the days when people still wrote down things. Okay, very interesting, right? So people were stealing, for sure. Note, Chazal categorize stealing, right, from Akul as offense more serious than stealing from Yehudi. So our Chazal said, as exactly we said, that if a person steals from a non-Jew, it's much worse than when somebody steals from a non-Jew. So as we said, this famous example, if a person steals from a non-Jew, from a Jew, so he said, writes writes one Jew from another. So this Jew, this guy, his family, he's like this. His brother is nice, but he's like that. His father was the tzaddik. Okay, so it was only against the person. But if a Jew steals from a non-Jew, he said all of Jews like that. You know what? I that's the only Jew I know. I read about them in anti-Semitic website, but that now I know all of them are like this. So meaning this for sure it's a desecration of name of Hashem, and especially if person portrays themselves as a religious person. Right, that's the worst. Right, so they would say they think about religious people. Okay. 1 second. So there is one commentary. It says the prohibition of Chillul Hashem and the myths of Kiddush Hashem are discussed more fully at the end of the next section, section C. Okay. So meaning with all of the righteous act, like when we go with the Jews, non-Jews, with non-religious, above the letter of the law, you're doing Kiddush Hashem. Why doing whatever you do? Because I'm a Zoran Jew, right? Because I know that Hashem is going to feed me directly, me personally. Other people, for sure, yes, but I have a confidence that He's going to support me. So and that's like and Torah tells me. So I said this story before. Sometimes, like the non-Jew give you extra change, or they send you some extra packages. They misplay them, mislabeled this and that. So or they send you 2 instead of 1, right? And you call them, and you must mention that I'm a religious Jew. Right, even though it costs $5, it's $20, whatever. It's not the dollar amount. It's like that's Kiddush Hashem. Don't just say you send me 2 and I want to return. Yeah, it's very nice of you, but you must say that I'm a Jew and our Torah. So I give a little speech, a little Dvar Torah. They're going to listen. Guess what? They're going to listen whether they want it or not. And you never know what this little speech of yours, 2 or 3 minutes, is going to do in the world. Okay. So let's do number 10. Okay. And number 10 is from a government entity. The prohibition of stealing also applies to stealing from a government entity, such as U.S. federal, state or local government body. For example, someone receive a government funding to provide lunches to students. He fraudulently added the name of non-existent student and collected additional funds. He was guilty of transgressing the Torah commandments of stealing. That's very sad, and actually they discovered, like in the recent past, like 5 years ago, 7 years ago, about in yeshiva, like fake yeshiva. The government were paying for yeshivas that never existed. They never took off, never opened. And they were charging for education, like tuition, and for lunches, all of these things. So it's, of course, it's Chillul Hashem, and right, and in all of the media they show this religious person who is 300 pounds because he was trying to eat all of these free lunches, I guess. So it's huge Chillul Hashem. Okay, so again, number 10 from the government entity, right? So government is still, in some sense, it's also people, right? Okay, so again, the prohibition still also applies to stealing from the government entity, right? Such as U.S. federal, state and local government. So meaning not to pay taxes, cheat them on the taxes. They do with these taxes, and the people have all of these long speeches. Everybody, how these taxes being mishandled, and they steal, and they do the roads, and they don't do roads, and garbage, no garbage. All of this project, a waste of money. Okay, it's a waste of money. I agree with you, but the Torah says that we have to respect the laws of the country, right? And we have to go by the laws of the country. And Talmud says specifically, meaning the paying taxes. So if the taxes are fair meaning it's across the board, not because you individually, like in olden days, these tax collectors, you Jew, I don't like you. You have such a big nose. Okay, for you, 47%. Yeah, you say, but for everybody, so yeah, for them, but for you too. So that's a tax maybe you can avoid somehow. But if it's fair tax, across the board, so you must pay. What they're going to do is that it's your it's not exactly your business. If you want to protest in different way, but not protest, but not paying. You understand? So if you can avoid it legally, whatever legal way, I don't know, whatever is it, there is no problem. But if it's illegal, absolutely not allowed. You have to pay taxes. For example, one who received government funding might provide lunches for students. So, I mean, sometimes even in yeshiva or something, they don't they don't pay for education, right? But still they provide the transportation, right? So they pay for transportation and they pay for children lunches. Right, so of course the kosher lunches cost much more, but that's what this institution has to provide them, because for this they get money. For other things they don't, but for this they do get. Right, so cannot put this non-existent student name. Of course they're not going to count and come and count. Right, unfortunately in Israel that's what they do. These lefty liberals, what do? They come and to the call and count how many people, and they try to to find person, to get rid of the people. So meaning they come in the middle of the day, I don't know, 1:30 p.m. and see if all of these people, or how many people. Let me look at the list. 12. I see only 10. Where are other 2 people? So but people have their own personal things. You have to take a child to a doctor. You have to go yourself to a doctor, and especially in Israel. As I remember, when we were traveling a long time ago, I went many times to Israel. So and have family and friends and somebody somebody very very close to me, and I had to give them a gift because that from the whole family person did a lot to us, and I said, okay, can we please meet? And this person said, please, I cannot. I said, but I need to leave today. He said, I understand, but I cannot. I apologize. And the person apologized 70 times. So why? Because he has an appointment, elderly person. So he's been waiting for this appointment 9 months. 9 months. Yeah. So that's what it is, right? Right. So one second. Okay. So right. So not stealing from the government. Okay. Should we go to the next part? Checking time 1 second. I think we stop here. Kiddush Hashem and just to introduce the next topic. The next topic it's section B: stealing by refusing to pay. Stealing by refusing to pay: refuse to pay a loan, right? Refuse to pay for merchandise, refuse to pay the wages, refuse to pay rent, refuse to return deposit. So it's we're going to start next time with discussion. So let's take 5 minutes break and we continue after the break. 5 minutes.